What's going on, you guys? My name is Kaylee and welcome back to my channel. If y'all are new to my channel, my husband and I just bought our first house about 30 minutes away from Raleigh, North Carolina. So I am in growing zone 8A, and I just wanted to bring you guys on my late February / early March garden tour. Since the last time we talked, which was about 3 weeks ago, I apologize for the delay. I did not realize when I said that I was going to try to film everything when starting a new garden, how many things were just like spare of the moment. Like, I have an hour here, so I'm going to throw out some seeds, or I have 2 hours here, so I'm going to start some seeds here or fertilize here. So I promise I will do better on the videos and getting them out a little bit quicker to you guys. But there has been a lot of progress in the garden, so I am super excited. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera around so we can go ahead and get started. All right, you guys, so similar to the last video, I just want to start in this area of the yard. Now, I do want to tell y'all I'm going to be walking y'all through my garden within the next few seconds, but I am going to have the camera flipped around just because it's kind of hard to see. So over here, the only addition I have is that I moved a whole bunch of dirt over here. This is extra dirt that I had from my ginormous dirt delivery, which I will be talking to you guys about in the future because I had a terrible experience. I don't know if you guys can tell just by looking at it, but this stuff it's just hard and super clumpy. So I had to amend that with a whole bunch of compost, and I actually still need to add more compost to my garden beds, but we're gonna move over here and then I will be showing you guys the rest of the updates. All right, so we are at my garden bed number, actually one starts at the other side of my house, so this is actually number 8. But I quickly just wanted to show y'all how I amended this soil. So as y'all saw, when I picked up the soil over there, it was super hard and clumpy. And actually when I filled my garden beds with that soil, it was so much worse than what y'all just saw. I'll actually insert a clip somewhere in here about how hard the dirt was when I was trying to first plant in it and just do anything to it. It was absolutely terrible. So I added a whole bunch of grade A certified organic compost. I went to a mulch yard and they had the certification for it. I was able to go and see it, and that is where I picked it up from. So I ordered, actually I didn't even order it. I drove up there in my Honda Pilot. If y'all know what a Honda Pilot looks like, it is just a big mom car. And if you are a dad driving a Honda Pilot, that is totally fine. It's not actually a mom car. But it's not a truck, which a lot of people, when you go up to mulch yards and you try to go get large amounts of dirt, you bring your truck. So I didn't do that. I also didn't bring anybody. I brought myself and a shovel and some gloves and my headphones, and I shoveled about 2 cubic yards. I did multiple trips. I did 2 cubic yards in the back of my Honda Pilot and just trucked it back and forth to my house. Why did I do this instead of having a big delivery of it brought to my house? They did not deliver to my house. I was right out of the delivery zone from this company, which is actually why I went with the other company, which I had such a bad experience with. The customer service was great. The people were great. But really just the soil was absolutely terrible in my opinion. If y'all look at the video, when y'all see the video that I just inserted of what the soil looks like, if y'all are like, hey Kaylee, that is actually beautiful soil, please let me know so I can stop beating myself up about it. But what was the one mistake I made when getting that soil delivery? I did not go and inspect the soil. I asked about it. I asked a ton of questions, if it was sifted, if there was organic material in it, like how many wood chips would be in it, if the wood chips had been broken down for a certain amount of time, that way it didn't leach a whole bunch of nitrogen from my soil. I asked all of those questions, so I thought in my head, everything's gonna be great. I asked all the right questions. So I went to the mulch yard that did not deliver to me because their product, A1, premium quality, A1. I will actually put their name below. They really don't do where people just drive up and load up. So if you have a truck or if you want to do a big delivery and you live in the Raleigh area, please. I believe it's Mulch Masters. I will insert the name right here if that is wrong or if that is correct. I'll still insert the name so you can look them up, and I'll also include like their website down below. Their compost is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But anyways, I spent a lot longer here than I wanted to, but I just wanted to dig down and show you guys. Like, it's so much easier to dig down into in comparison to that other video. And look, once I dig down deep into it, this is what I have. You don't see any huge clumps. Try not to lose too much of it. Dark, rich matter, compost, topsoil. And the only reason it looks like this is because I amended it. If I would not have amended it, who knows where I would be right now, honestly. All right, so y'all couldn't see me anymore. So now we're gonna go ahead and move over to my cattle panel trellis. Y'all, I am so excited to show you guys this. I do also have kind of a story about the cattle panel trellis. I don't want this video to be too long, but I have so many stories to tell you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about this cattle panel trellis. Was it easy to put up? Absolutely not. Was it easy to load onto the back of my friend's truck? Absolutely not. First mistake, we bent it into like a big circle in order to get it onto the back of the truck. Of course, that bent the cattle panel. I thought that because we're already bending it anyways and it's metal, like it's just gonna kind of like spring back, it's gonna be fine. We'll be able to kind of mold it however we need to when we push it against the T-post. No. If you can, go without bending your cattle panel trellis in any way until you are getting it up. I highly recommend that. So they're not super, well, they actually are. They're actually pretty heavy. If you are like a smaller person trying to carry an entire cattle panel trellis, it is extremely heavy. It is also bendy. So you're walking and it's flopping around. It's also sharp. So did I cut myself? Yes. How many times? A lot. But that's not the point. The point is that I did it. So this right here is one cattle panel to this set right here. And then from this post to this post is another cattle panel. I used 50-inch by 16-foot cattle panels when I first put it up. I did dig down into my raised beds because I wanted to have a square foot on each side. So this is a square foot and this is a square foot going, y'all know what I mean. I wanted it right in the middle. That way I could have like some plants that don't like as much sun and they can be protected by the vegetables that are trellising on this side. So I can have even spacing there. And then I can also have even spacing here for the vegetables that are trellising, as well as vegetables in front of the ones that are trellising. Just because I want to use as much of my garden space as possible. I do have a lot of garden space, but I'm also a 6-person household. So we have a lot of mouths to feed, a lot of children to feed. Children love to eat, and our children love vegetables, which is a blessing. But that also means that we need to grow a lot of food. So that was my goal there, but I made another major mistake. So when I filled up my garden beds, I filled them up with logs and twigs and brush and all of that stuff. There's a name for it. I'll also insert that here. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but that's what I did. And I did not even think I'm going to need to, 1, hammer T-posts into these garden beds. And then 2, I'm going to need to put these into the garden beds as well for extra stability. So I dug down and buried these about probably about 3 feet into these garden beds and connected them to the T-posts. So could you imagine what I had to do to get these 6-foot T-posts nailed in here when there are thick tail, way bigger than that, like thick tail logs in the bottom of it? So yeah, I kind of wish I would have recorded that, but I was very frustrated, very irritated, very hot, very sweaty. So the last thing I wanted to do was put that on the internet, but we eventually did it. Additionally, I realized that a 16-foot cattle panel, when it's already raised off the ground, is at least 8 feet tall in the middle. I'm 5'5.5". I think I'm 5'5.5". I can reach probably about 7 feet tall. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know the math on that, but I can reach around there. I can't reach 8 feet and above. So when I walked under my cattle panel, one, it was bent and crazily out of shape, which was driving me absolutely nuts. And then two, I couldn't reach the top. And I really do not want to have plants go bad in my garden. And I know that if I'm not able to see it or reach it, then it's kind of inevitable that plants will go bad and spoil and go to waste. So that is, I'm so excited. Again, we spent a lot longer on this than I wanted to. Oh, and I'm also not done. Last part of the story. So because they were too tall, I had to go get 36-inch bolt cutters. They weren't that expensive. I think it was like 30 bucks, but I had to go get 36-inch bolt cutters. And then I chopped about a foot. Hold on, I can actually show you. Why do I still have this? I don't know. But yeah, so I cut about, yeah, I'm ready to put this down already. About a foot off, maybe, yeah, about a foot off the bottom. I cut about a foot off the bottom on each side, which allowed it to come down where the top of it now, I can reach it on my tippy toes. So this is roughly about 7 feet, I'm guessing, which is perfect. I can stand on my tippy toes and pick things and examine things and inspect things for bugs and heat pressure and all those fun gardening things. So I'm super, super excited. And then I also, because they didn't perfectly fit into my garden beds, the 2 panels, I had to then cut them down the side. So that way I could zip tie them together and have them be of roughly equal length. All right, you guys, so I know that the sun is definitely fading, so I'm sorry about the lighting. I know it's definitely not the best, but I do quickly want to finish up the garden tour. So we are at garden beds 5 and 4. Why did I start at the end? I really don't know, but 5 and 4. So in here, we already have planted broccoli. We have Waltham 29 as well as Ramses broccoli. I will include pictures of both of those seed packets in this video, and I'll also link them down below for you guys. But they are doing, actually, I've never grown broccoli before. So it's currently March 4th. This whole week we have a stretch of like 70+ degree days. So I'm actually kind of worried about the broccoli. I hope it does well. I've heard that it's cold hardy, but that I'm pretty sure that it's pretty resistant to heat. So I'm hoping that that won't do anything to, oh, we already have bugs in the garden, which is used to really irritate me. But now that I'm a gardener, it makes me very, very happy. But yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 14 heads of broccoli planted, kind of a mixture of those 2 varieties that I discussed. I also have some planted in garden beds 3 and 2. But this garden bed is majorly composed of compost. I did mix it in a little bit with the soil that I got delivered, but I really did just want to test how just having a really thick top dressing of really good quality compost on top of the soil that really wasn't the best, how that will do. And I do love, I'll bring some over to you guys. Like, I'm about to, as soon as I get off the video with you guys, I'm gonna do a very deep water because the soil is getting pretty dry. But as y'all can see here, this is all compost and it is just gorgeous. And the broccoli is doing really well. Nothing has died. So when I look at the kind of like the growth calendar for broccoli, I planted these, I started the seeds in like mid-January. I planted them out towards the middle of February, towards the middle to end of February. So they've been in the ground for almost 2 weeks. So I really hope that they're doing well. If you guys, I'll give you guys like a close-up of these like towards the end of the video, just so y'all can see. But I also want comments from you guys. Because I'm new, I don't know what is sun scald. I don't know what is powdery mildew. I don't know what is, I don't know what else there may be. Those are the only 2 issues that I've kind of not seen, but questioned a little bit. Some of my leaves do have like big white spots in them, which I will show y'all. So please comment your advice, comment your experiences. I would love to hear it. So let's move over to our last few garden beds so we can wrap up this video. If you guys have stayed to this point of the video, thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. This has actually been a dream of mine since I was a kid, to one, not only have a garden, but to also be able to kind of film it and share it with people. So thank you guys so much for the support. So let's go ahead and get on to the rest of the garden. All right, so we're gonna quickly go over garden bed number 3. So here we have some shijame. I also have some shijame planted. Shijame, I may be butchering that name. If I am, I'm so sorry. But I have that planted in my other garden beds as well, and that is thriving. I love spinach. Hello, this is actually not a spinach. It's a member of the Brassica family, but it is a spinach substitute. So I'm super excited about that. I love making bibimbap bowls for my husband and for myself. I love Korean food. So just being able to harvest this, I'll actually do a harvest video soon because like it's getting huge. It's getting absolutely ginormous. So I'm super excited to get that started. And then also I'm gonna be putting some straw down just to protect the leaves because a lot of them are starting to touch the soil since they haven't been watered. So I will be putting some straw down just to help prevent extra disease and things from bouncing off of the soil onto the bottom leaves. So in my next update, that will probably all be laid down, which will be super exciting. But over here in this back corner, these are all broccoli. This is broccoli that's doing very well. And a lot of the broccoli, I actually just watered and fertilized them before I started the video, just because it was very hot here. I could look at them and tell that they were under stress. So I just wanted to go ahead and quickly get that done. I am using the organic fish emulsion fertilizer. I'll put a picture here and I'll also link it down below for you guys. It has worked absolutely amazing for my plants. I've used it for absolutely everything, from my seedlings, from when I needed to fertilize them after they've gotten their true leaves, to when I'm fertilizing my onions, my cabbage, my jajame, my broccoli. I've also fertilized my flowers with it. So I've absolutely loved that. So they're actually recovering really well. They're actually, you can see that the leaves are starting to pick up a little bit off of the dirt, which makes me very happy. I'm gonna go through and prune some of the bottom leaves. Like down here, there are some that are buried under the dirt, and there are some that are just laying flat on the dirt. I'm gonna go ahead and prune the ones that aren't just gonna bounce right back up once they suck up some more nutrients and water. So that way that can help lessen the chance of disease. And then I also want to get some more, I want to get some lettuce planted in here. I want to get some carrots planted. I have a very large order of seeds coming in from So True Seeds, which is based out of North Carolina. I'm actually going to take a trip up there because I just think it's so cool that I have the ability to drive 4 hours and go visit the place where I'm getting my seeds from. I just think that's absolutely amazing. So that is actually going to be like maybe a little vlog for the channel. So now let's move over to our last 2 garden beds. All right, you guys, so we are now at the last 2 garden beds on my property. This is an 8 foot by 2 foot, and this is another 8 foot by 2 foot, and then they're 17 inches off of the ground. In my first video, I linked the beds and also did like a very quick review on the garden beds. Putting them together was the worst thing ever. Putting them together was very hard. They come in a film that just sticks so well to this material, which is great for shipping, but when you're trying to put them together and in large quantities, I had to install 8 of them. Each one took me at least 3.5 to 4 hours of me like consistently working on it because there are so many screws and the film was terrible to get off. But they are also gorgeous and they weren't that expensive. So I will link them down below. If you don't mind taking a little bit of time sitting outside or sitting in your garage and putting together some raised beds, if you're only starting with 1 or 2, I highly recommend these. I love these. I will link them down below. They are the Vicus brand. I haven't had any issues with them yet, but I will do a review 1 year in, just so that way you guys can kind of know how they're holding up. I just got back from the gym. It is leg day, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to my knees because that was really starting to hurt. All right, you guys, so here we have another head of broccoli. I need to go back and check to see which one this is. I, for some reason, did not label this one. So it's either a Waltham 29 or a Ramses. Those are the only 2 varieties that I grew. And then here we have 2. Kailee, why do you only have 2 onions? You may be asking, because these are the only 2 out of the 8 that I planted from seed that germinated. I don't know. Am I gonna get onion starts? Maybe. Probably. So these are the Texas grano onions. These are a short day variety. There are 3 varieties of onions. There is short day, long day, and intermediate day. Now, do I remember what all of those mean? No. But do I still want to inform you guys? Absolutely. So I will include just a short little blurb about what short day, intermediate day, and long day onions are. It all depends on how much light they need to be able to form their bulb. So it really helps to look that up when you're planning on planting onions or picking onion seeds and varieties, is understanding how your grow zone will affect how you grow onions. Because if you live in a place that only gets 5 hours of sun, growing a specific type of onion that needs 8 to 10 hours of sun to bulb, you won't get a good production. So again, I will include that if I haven't already, just to help you guys, and I will include it in the description down below in case you just want to read a little bit more about it. But these are my 2 baby onions. And then I do have one more thing I want to show you guys very, very quickly, which I think is super, super interesting. All right, so I just brought y'all back over. Well, not really back over, but I just kind of repositioned myself a little bit differently at garden beds number 2 and 1. So I don't have anything planted in 1 at all at the moment. The only thing that I have planted at all on this side of the house is those 2 onions and that 1 broccoli, because I really want to save the space for tomatoes and peppers, because they get a lot of sun over here. So I feel like that will be the most beneficial for them. But I do want to go ahead and plant some crops that are very, very fast growing. So like beets, radishes. I'll probably plant some carrots over here. I have some herbs that I want to plant. I have some basil that I already started from seed that is actually doing very, very well. I will do a video of my grow room of just all the things that I have, because I have some stuff that's ready to go out for, what is it? I guess it's like right around my frost date or right after my frost date. So I will take y'all to see that soon. But the main reason I wanted to sit over here with you guys is because these 2 garden beds are the same garden beds in the video, this video, that was super, super hard to get into. And this is what they are like now. Look at that. All I had to do was amend the soil with some really, really good compost, you guys. That is the only thing that brought the dirt from what it was to this. Like, I can dig into any section of this dirt. I do not have to worry about getting stuck. I do not have to worry about not being able to dig my fingers in. Now, while there are a lot of like big sticks and twigs in this, which I would prefer weren't in the soil, I know that eventually they will break down and add nutrients back into it. So until then, if I need to add a little bit more nitrogen to my soil through soil amendments, I will do that if that is what my plants need for the time being. And then also this one over here, you won't be able to see me, but you'll be able to see my hand. This is the other one that was just very, very hard to get into. Actually, here. And all I did was add some compost. So if you guys are ever in a position where you get a very large truckload soil delivery to fill up your garden beds or to add to your garden or whatever it may be, and you realize that it is absolutely terrible, please do not freak out. To get the compost, it was about $23 every time I filled up my car. I filled it up about 4 times. So, I mean, for a little under $100, I was able to fix the soil, get some plants in there. Nothing has died. Nothing has died. So I think that that is progress. The onions are actually doing very, very well. So I know that I'm doing something right. So if you are ever in that position, please do not panic. Please do not feel the need to discard all of the soil. There are definitely ways to fix it. So Yay, hopefully that is some encouragement for somebody out there. So we have reached the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much if you have watched this whole video from start to finish. That is incredible. I know that it was a little long, but we had a lot of super exciting updates to go over today. At the end of this video, I will just include some clips of me just walking through my garden and showing you guys the plants that I'm growing up close. That way, if you guys see something that I don't see or that I don't understand, like the big white spots that y'all will see, please feel free to drop the comments down below. Let's help gardeners out. Let's help each other let's help each other out. Thank you guys so much, and I hope that y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thank you.